consecutive games. They made a lot of wise decisions last week, throwing the ball away, avoiding sacks, and played an error-free game against Kansas City. A huge win for Seattle. On the 36, Seattle first down and 10. Right to work goes Kitna with good time. Here's the pass, and it's caught, reeled in by Dawkins at the 44. It's a gain of 8, and he's tackled by Victor Green, who leads the Jets defense in tackles. Jones, Kendall, Gray, Habib, Grant Williams on the offensive line. Seattle's offense, number 21 in the NFL. Waters will start, although he's got the sprained knee with Brown. Mays and Dawkins are the wide receivers, and Fourier is the tight end. Second down, long one, just outside the 44. Rolling out of the pocket as Kitna gets a block on the play from Williams and throws a completed pass to the Jet 43-yard line. It's a gain of 12 yards on the play to Mike Pritchard. Iowa had some preseason knee surgery, has come back and start. 34 look today. Ferguson in the middle, flanked by Lyle and Pleasant on the defensive line of the Jets. Linebackers Lewis, Gordon, Jones, and Pfeiffer. Cox has been out a couple weeks with an injury. Glenn and Coleman are the quarterbacks. Atwater is one of the safeties, and the handoff goes to Ricky Waters and brought down by Ernie Logan. After a gain of 3, second down and 7.
Seattle doing a lot of substitution in these first 3 or 4 plays, trying to get different personnel in the game. As we talked to some of the defensive guys for the Jets yesterday, they said they run the same plays. They just run them from different personnel, different formations, and we have to make different calls on defense. The problem of that, of course, is that you run the risk of making a mistake when you're running the same play, but a new guy in the game.
Second down and 7 from the 40 of the Jets. Kitna right on the money, and it's caught again by Dawkins on the slant. This time exploiting Coleman on the corner. It's a gain of 11 on second and 7. Another Seattle first down.
Quick to the inside. Look at his inside position. Coleman has 5 interceptions already this year. He's all over that play. Anything off target. Marcus Coleman will be right there for the interception, but that's not. They're quick throws now. They've been out of pocket once and then 2 3-step drops. They're not taking much time in the pocket back there with John Kitna.
And there you see Sean Dawkins, who was born in New Jersey, so a coming home for him as John Kitna has been absolutely perfect to begin the game. 3 of 3. He's first and 10 inside the Jet 30. Ricky Waters getting a block from Kendall and Habib and Gray, and he takes it down the middle for 4. Tackled by linebacker Roman Pfeiffer. It'll be second down and 6.
And the Jets occupy a 3-4 defense. They have 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers. And what you will see there, of course, is any of those linebackers can come, but they started the ball game. They had 4 defensive linemen in there a couple of snaps trying to throw a curveball, but the quick throws took care of any threat in part of Seattle.
Jets defense, number 25 in the NFL coming into today. Second down and 6. The fake to Waters. A hit by Coleman. The pass is caught by Ricky Waters in open territory to the 11-yard line. Another first down. It's a gain of 15. Victor Green the tackle. Marcus Coleman jumps on Kitna's back, and Kitna almost didn't get it away.
Here comes the blitz from Marcus Coleman, the backside. You see him get hit just as he lets it go to Ricky Waters, who really somebody must have blown coverage because somebody's got to peel off on that first back out. But when you've got those intricate blitzes coming, that's called a corner crash, corner blitz. Means that somebody covering is not familiar with it all the time.
It is first and 10. Time for Kitna. Throws outside when the tight end Fourier was cutting inside. Incomplete coverage on the play by Mo Lewis. It's second down and 10.
Boy, Mo Lewis was not ready. He was turned around screaming at the defensive backs. Didn't know exactly what kind of call they wanted. And the ball actually came right at his coverage, but it was off the target. Jets got away with one right there.
And Kitna's first incomplete pass on this drive.
These short little throws now, he's a very accurate passer, and he will throw it away, as will Ray Lucas on the other side of the ball.
Second down and 10, 8th play of the drive. Handoff to Waters. There's a block by Walter Jones, and he's to the 12, picking up perhaps 3 on the play. Ricky Waters, we always think, Sam, in terms of his great numbers, he is truly one of the most durable running backs ever to play in the National Football League. His 97th consecutive start as a running back today.
John Kitna told me yesterday, he said, you know, he never talks about being hurt. He's nicked up a little bit. You never hear from him. So when he is hurt, as he has been all week long, he did not practice all week long, just went through the walkthrough yesterday. But when he talks about being hurt, you know he's really hurting.
It's 3rd and 6. Down to the 7. Kitna with time. Now here comes the rush. Good block by Jones, who throws it away. Wisely, much like last week against Kansas City, Kitna with the flag down, looking for Mays in the corner. Wisely throws it away, avoiding any kind of problem. And we'll see what the flag is about with Johnny Greer, one of the best in the NFL. A very solid crew doing a very important game here at the Meadowlands, and the penalty is against Seattle.
And the motion may have turned up just a little bit quick that time by Mike Pritchard as he came in short motion to the inside. If you're going forward at the snap of the ball, obviously that's illegal. You can go parallel or away from the line of scrimmage.
Illegal motion, offense. The man on the end of the line went in motion prior to resetting as a backfield player. The penalty.
Pocket protection, and the quarterback's going to take 5 steps and let it go. Just going to go right to the out cut right here. He knows the ball is being thrown on time, that John Kitna is not going to hold the ball and run the risk of a sack and a possible fumble. Going to get the ball out.
They've been working on Coleman a lot today from the 35, 1st and 10. Kitna with traffic around, throws caught by Mays, breaks a tackle on the play by Mickens. It's a block from Dawkins, goes by Coleman and goes out of bounds. At the Jet 43, a catch of 22 yards with some outstanding blocking around him. And now it's another first down, 23 seconds to play. Hawks with 1 timeout, Jets with 2.
Derek Mays is the guy they go to in the red zone. He's a big guy, 6 foot, 200+ pounds. And you see he just kind of steals the ball away. I don't like the way he's carrying it right there. But then he hustles out of bounds, saves the timeout, leaves him with 23 seconds. Now they do have time. Now they're not in that backed up situation that I described. They're out in the plus territory. They can get in range real quick.
Peterson's long, 51 yards this year, 1st and 10 from the Jets 43.
4-man rush.
Good block by Brown down the sideline and intercepted by Coleman. He picked off Marino last week, returned it for a 98-yard touchdown, and Marcus Coleman, who is thriving in his 4th year out of Texas Tech, comes up with a huge play for the New York Jets.
That won't hurt him with those contract negotiations. Sean Dawkins going up the sideline. Just the go pattern. Just a shade underthrown, but look at the extension by Marcus Coleman as he makes the interception. And then he does something smart at the very end of this play. When he realizes he's going to get nothing, he just goes down, doesn't risk a fumble.
And Kitna, Sam, throws his first interception in more than 2 games.
Well, that was a desperation throw, but that was terrific extension, hand-eye concentration by Marcus Coleman to make that play and to take the Jets out of what could have been a 3-point situation.
Look at the Jets. They've lined up with 4 receivers from the 43. 1st and 10. Lucas winds up, hit as he throws down the sideline. That's intercepted and picked off by Jay Bellamy at the 34. Seattle is number 1 in the NFL in interceptions. That was their league-leading 29th.
And the 5th for Ray Lucas this year. Ball he gets hit just as he lets it go. This is attack football on both sides. The Jets are playing like they have to win to go to the playoffs. They have to win to go 8-8. Seattle has to win to get in. Now with 6 seconds left, we'll see if there's a Hail Mary. It's about all that's left at this point.
So Lucas throws his 2nd interception in the last 199 passes. Kitna threw his 1st interception in 130 passes. And let's see how they finish up the first half. To a knee, probably the wise thing, but the Seahawks trail going to halftime 13-6. Oakland has just taken a lead on Kansas City. The Raiders lead the Chiefs 21-17. Incredible. The Chiefs led 17-0. Good news for Seattle, but if the Seahawks want to guarantee themselves a place in the playoffs, they have got to win today, capture the division, and host a playoff game next week at the Kingdome.
They don't want to run the risk of watching that scoreboard in Kansas City, especially with Kansas City at home. They're playing for the same odds as is Seattle.
One a day in the National Football League. Jets on top by a touchdown at halftime. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Your strong suit, and then if Kansas City loses that game, Seattle is in because they have won the matchup head-to-head, so they're in. But if Kansas City wins, then Seattle must also win here this afternoon. They trail by 7.
Kansas City wins and Seattle loses. It's over for Seattle.
Yep, that's it. Miami Dolphins would be in. They're sitting there running, hoping, of course, that one of these two teams, Kansas City or Seattle, loses to them.
1st and 10 from the 40. Good time for Kitna. Down the middle, he's got his receiver, Derek Mays, to the Jet 41-yard line, tackled by Atwater. A 19-yard pickup for Mays.
Zone pass. Mays just slips into the in behind the linebackers. He's going to come from this side. He's going to be in behind linebackers. You see number 56, 55, 54, all the linebackers dropped underneath, and then Atwater comes up to make the play. That's a nice throw. That ball has to be thrown on time, just like a quick out does.
Mays with great hands, but his durability has always been a question. On the 41, 1st and 10. Here comes Logan in the pass, incomplete. As he sends it off to the right side, incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10. John Kitna has certainly grown as a quarterback under Mike Holmgren. Of course, this past offseason, all he did was watch tapes of the Holmgren offense and Brett Favre up in Green Bay.
You know, it's a new offense for everybody, but for a young quarterback trying to develop within a new offense with everybody else around him learning as well, instead of stepping into one where you've got everybody in place. It's a tougher job. That was a little bit of a risky throw right there, though. He left it in the air a long time.
2nd down, 10 from the 41. Here comes Mo Lewis. He dumps it off, caught by Ricky Waters down the sideline, close to a 1st down. Shoved out of bounds by Ray Mickens. Will be close to a 1st down. Great read by Kitna with the blitz on. Let's check back in with Jim Nantz.
All right, you won't believe this. After the Kansas City touchdown, it only took Oakland 4 plays. Gannon on the screen pass to Wheatley. Gannon's 3rd touchdown pass of the half, and the Raiders lead 28-24 with 12 seconds to go before halftime. Back to Kevin and Sam.
Unbelievable.
I will tell you this, when it was 17-0, we were sitting here talking. I wonder if the Oakland Raiders will just cash it in. They certainly have not. A credit to John Gruden and his staff.
Timeout taken by Kitna. Burns is first, and he burns with just a couple minutes gone in this 3rd quarter. May prove to be an integral timeout later in the game. With Sam Weich, Kevin Harlan, we're in the Meadowlands. Seattle trailing the Jets 13-6. 3rd down, inches from the Jet 31. Mays in motion, handoff goes up the middle, and I don't know if Brown was able to chisel a 1st down out of it. Marcus Coleman met him from the secondary, and
they're not getting a favorable spot at all.
They're not.
Clearly not a 1st down. I think they lost yardage.
Not much of a budge at all.
Now the decision Mike Holmgren has to make. Do you go for the long field goal, which would be just inside 50 yards? Do you go for the 1st down? You certainly don't punt. That's not an option. They're going for the 1st down. Too much on the line in week 6-17.
Would you go for it?
I'd go for it right here, no doubt. If you can't make this 1st down right now as the Seattle Seahawks, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. One thing you don't want to do is call timeout.
Oh, my goodness.
Last
Seahawks have burned their 2nd timeout. They've got 1 timeout remaining in the entire 2nd half. Seattle.
Very surprised. Normally you go in with a 3rd and short or 4th and short, a play you worked on all week. No discussion about it. They did not have to call timeout.
4th and inches. Huge play for Seattle. Play action. Good block by Waters. The pass caught for a 1st down. Derek Mays makes the catch at the 23. It's a gain of 9. Lewis and Gordon make the stop. And Holmgren gambles and wins it on 4th and inches.
Well, you know, the longer this game goes, I don't want to use the word desperate too liberally here, but the more desperate and the more chances that the Seattle Seahawks are willing to take and have to take because of the playoff implications. But they should not be leaving themselves in a 4th down situation and then having to call timeout. If they get to 4th down, they should know where to go from now on.
On the 24, 1st and 10. Waters again finds a bit of a hole and then dives ahead down to the 21, picking up a yard. Tackled on the play by Anthony Pleasant. Other scores coming in. 2nd down, 9.
Cincinnati giving Jacksonville a little bit of a battle. Jacksonville, of course, going without their quarterback. Tampa Bay still on top of Chicago 10-0. That one may not be over. Chicago's, they're a try-hard group.
The interesting thing about that Jacksonville game is they want the bye next week so they can give Burnell another week to rest that knee.
Absolutely. First week bye is crucial for all the teams.
2nd down, 9. 9th play of the drive. Kitna pump fakes. Here comes Dwayne Gordon, and he throws it away wisely again. Kitna did about all he can do. Avoids the sack, does not take the loss, throws it away, and a flag is thrown on the 36-yard line, and it's against Seattle.
Well, Johnny Greer waited a long time, looking downfield to his other officials to see if there was anybody in the area. John Kitten is saying, hey, I threw it out there. I just didn't have any stuff on it.
Intentional grounding. Number 7, offense. That's also a loss of down. 3rd down.
Let's see now. Let's first of all mark the tight end, so he's got from here to here in terms of where he can go. So keep an eye right over here, because that's.
I think he'll be inside there. He's staying. He pump fakes, doesn't move very far. See the pressure he's under. The key is, are you under pressure? Did you throw it to avoid the sack? And if you're in that box, you have to have somebody in the area where the ball comes down.
But I liked how deliberate this referee crew was in making sure they had the call right, and they did. It's 3rd and 23. Good block by Grant Williams. Time for Kitten. Throws the pass. Caught by the fullback. Reggie Brown spinning his way. Well shy of the first down. Had to get down to the 13. Lands at about the 27. 9 yards to go now.
That got him back into field goal range, though. It was just enough to make this a reasonable kick for Seattle. And Kitten very upset because he felt like he was just throwing to an area that he was hoping his receiver would come back and get the ball. Referee Johnny Greer didn't buy that one.
This will be a 45-yard field goal attempt by Peterson. The snap by Rodenhauser, the hold by Beagles. The kick is up and good. He gets it on a line drive from 45 yards away. Peterson with the big kick. Had 3 last week against Kansas City. Has 3 today in the Meadowlands. A goal by Peterson. Here's the ensuing kickoff. Picked up by Aaron Glenn inside the 5. A block from Spence. He's up to the 29. And tackled by Willie Williams, along with James Logan. Saturday on CBS, join Dick Clark for the biggest game show in TV history from the creator of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Don't miss Winning Lines, premiering Saturday on CBS.
One of the winning lines came from Mike Homer to his team this week. He said, people, you don't get to this point very often. You take nothing for granted. You may not ever get back to this point. Play your hearts out today. I'm not sure we've seen as much aggressive play, though, as the New York Jets have shown on their side of the ball.
From the 29, 1st and 10. Play fake by Lucas going deep. He's got Trebek for the first time today to the Seattle 48. A gain of 23. Tackle made by Springs and Willie Williams.
That's the 3rd time today that Wayne Corbett has run that corner pattern, this time to the left, up against the zone between Sean Springs and Willie Williams. Nice throw. This ball has to be just dropped in the hole. You throw that to an area. You don't throw to the receiver. You see the same hole in the zone that he does. He's got to get there, and you've got to put the ball in the same spot.
48-yard line of Seattle. Jets have it 1st down and 10. Keyshawn Johnson in motion. Handoff. Great tackle made by Philip Daniels, having a career year on Curtis Martin.
You know, a week ago now against Kansas City, the defense was very aggressive. They started out that way and then slowed down. Philip Daniels had a big day as well last week. But when you get aggressive, you sometimes give up the big plays. They gave up a couple of big plays in the first half. They went back to more zone, mixing it up. That time they went to their 8-man front. As the game goes on, they have to get more and more aggressive. They'll have no choice.
2nd down, 12 from midfield. Lucas dumps it across the middle. Wide open. Curtis Martin breaks a tackle by Canny. And here he goes. Tackled by Sinclair at the 15-yard line. Oh, as he had a great day. Curtis Martin with a 34-yard pickup.
Well, they left a big hole in the middle of that zone blitz. The impressive part of this was the Michael Sinclair recovery. Went right shoot in the middle. There's the hole. Michael Sinclair, number 70, right here in the bottom of your screen. There he is. Watch him. He catches Curtis Martin from behind. Now, Michael Sinclair is a defensive end.
He's been battling groin problems all season.
All season long. In fact, last time we saw this team, he was limping coming in on and off the field.
From the 16 of Seattle, 1st and 10. Handoff to Martin. Got a great block from Kerry Jenkins and takes it down to the 10. Cortez Kennedy with the stop. It's a gain of 6.
The Jets were looking for a real aggressive, probable blitz that time from Seattle. He didn't get it. They were going to run that draw play and try to pop it in between everyone. Bill Parcells makes the offensive play selection, as does Mike Holmgren when they have the ball.
Jets, Sam, have been in the red zone 3 times previous to this. 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. 2nd down, 4 from the 10. Martin again, the block by Anderson. A good block on the play by Young, and a gain of 2. Defense converging. Chad Brown, who leads them in tackles, number 94, makes the stop.
Now, Chad Brown had that neck injury in the middle of the season. Really couldn't take people on like that one-on-one head up. Last month or so, he's really come around, though. That pinched nerve has healed itself. Always a top player, though. Very aggressive in his pass rush. Still cover.
Tore a ligament, and they had to take him off the field on a stretcher week 1. 3rd down and 2 from the 8. The pitch out to Martin. Dancing in the backfield, breaking tackles of Labonte, and finally brought down by Darrell Williams. Big play by Williams, the former Pro Bowler with Cincinnati. And again in the red zone, they're going to be forced to try for 3 because Seattle's defense holds them to that. Sam, they hold him out of the end zone.
Well, they learned something on the 50-yard run earlier in the game by Curtis Martin. That was the same play, the quick fake up the middle to Richie Anderson, and then the pitch outside, almost like the old option play that you see in college. But it's quickly done, and there really is no option. It's going to be the pitch. Seattle took that away, forced the reverse, and they actually lost yardage on it.
31-yard try by John Hall. He's kicked 2 already today. The hold by Tupa. That was almost blocked. Kick is up and kick is good. The Jets extend their lead. It's 16-9, New York. With Sam White, Kevin Harlan, the Meadowlands, another field goal by Hall, this time from 31 yards away. Jets on top again by 7, 16-9. Kickoff by Hall. Rodgers will take it a yard deep in the end zone. Joseph a lead block. Hayes breaks a tackle. Hall can't bring him down. Finally, he sticks with it, and down at the 43, a return of 44 yards. Rodgers has done a great job today returning kicks, and 2 weeks from today on CBS, the premiere of an extraordinary new drama about the power of courage and the reward of sacrifice. Blair Underwood, star of City of Angels, premiering 2 weeks from today on CBS. First down and 10 yards to go from the 42.
Audible by John Kitna. See the hand signals is to the wide receivers. Everybody else can hear him in tight.
4 on the play clock. Oh, here comes Ferrier. He's got the quarterback. Kitna. The pass is thrown away, incomplete, looking for Dawkins. James Ferrier was all over John Kitna.
Coming from his backside, he actually had plenty of time. Ferrier's going to be coming from this side now. He comes in. The backs are picking up the protection right there. This time it's Ricky Waters with that bad wheel. Finally gives out. Oh, Ferrier just throws him aside. Slows him down long enough, though, for Kitna to get rid of the ball. That's strength. Quarterbacks today all have to be strong to hang in there.
2nd down, 10 from the 42. Time for Kitna. Throws a pass. Incomplete. His receiver Galloway was cutting in. The pass whistled wide. Incomplete. Glenn was covering. 3rd down and 10.
It's a 3-step drop. The receiver's just going to take 3 steps and then he's gone. Now the ball always has to be thrown inside. This one's the first one that I think John Kitna really let get away from him. Had one earlier in the ball game, I think slipped out of his hand. Wasn't a tight spiral, but that was just a wild throw.
Well, he's thrown to Galloway 4 times today, completing 1. Galloway is a guy who has got to be evident. 3rd and 10. Good time for Kitna. Good block by Bray, and a pass dropped by Dawkins, crossing at the 35. A rare drop for Sean Dawkins.
Okay, remember this play right here. He had a chance to make the first down on 3rd down and 10. Dawkins is going to come all the way across the field, breaking to his right. The scramble by the quarterback, and here's the throw. Dawkins gets both hands on it, full extension. Would have been a nice catch, but remember that play. Jets maintain their 7-point lead, and they got Seattle out, 3 out.
Fiegels to punt. Rush came on from Parmley. The boot is away. Dedrick Ward with the catch at the 9 and then steps out of bounds at about the 10. 49-yard punt by Fiegels and a beauty. Joey Ellums was there covering. Jets lead Seattle. Just one touchdown today. Curtis Martin from a yard away for the Jets.
And here's what's at stake now. If Seattle wins, they're in. They will host the first playoff weekend. If they tie and Miami loses, then they're in the wild card berth. But if Kansas City loses, Seattle is going to be in. Kansas City right now trails Oakland in Kansas City.
28-24, early third quarter there. From the 9-yard line, 1st and 10 for Ray Lucas. Hand off to the record-setting running back Curtis Martin, flying and accelerating up to the 22. First down run, tackled by Willie Williams and Bellamy, 13-yard gain. He is the all-time single-season rushing leader for the Jets.
Key block right there on Michael Sinclair. Martin is going to come just inside Sinclair. Look, he can't get off the block. Good solid block upfield on Darren Smith. And you've got Curtis Martin into the backfield.
Sam, 138 yards rushing and 24 carries today and not going to the Pro Bowl.
And the Seattle Seahawks knew they were going to hand in the ball. They know it's coming from him.
22-yard line, 1st and 10. Hand off again. Great tackle made by Lamar King, the rookie from Saginaw Valley State, the only Division II player drafted in the 1st round. Comes up with a big play there.
That's what's called one gap. You're going to take one gap, you're going to shoot that gap, get across the field.
2nd and 12 coming up. Want to go to the games? You can be there. Playoff tickets are available through NFL.com. We'd like to go, but we're not.
What? I'm there.
2nd down and 12 from the 20. Good time for Lucas. Throws a pass and it's caught by Keyshawn Johnson at the 25-yard line, surrounded by Sean Springs. Gain of a couple yards on the play. 3rd catch today for Keyshawn.
Actually, Ray Lucas had to double clutch on that one because Keyshawn Johnson slipped out there. Still got to him. Sean Springs in soft coverage. Looking for that something deep. Watch Keyshawn Johnson slip. Now here he is on the plant. He goes down. Ray Lucas resets his arm and gets it in.
I like Lucas.
He's a gritty guy. He doesn't care about that being a spoilers business. He says, we're not spoilers, we're winners. We're coming out here to play to win.
3rd and a long 6, and he throws outside, incomplete. Prevent stopped on the numbers. The ball sailed outside. Ellums was covering, incomplete pass, and they got a punt.
Bill Parcells told us yesterday, he said, you know, when we came out of camp, we had a good enough football team to be going to the playoffs big time. And the fact that we've come back from a 1-6 start to be in the position we're in right now tells you that we're pretty good. And how much fun it is for him going to work, because he's got a great bunch of kids that are obviously still fighting their hearts out trying to get back to 500.
Tom Tupa with his 2nd punt of the day. Deep back, the #1 punt returner in the NFL at the 24-yard line, Charlie Rogers. Line drive, spiral, returnable by Rogers. He is tackled by Dwight Stone. He's 36. He's played 13 years in the National Football League with a host of teams, primarily with Pittsburgh, but a huge play there. 9-yard return, 50-yard punt. And Seattle gets it again with 1 timeout remaining for them the entire half. And next Sunday, it's conference crunch time when Shane Battier sparks Coach K's Duke Blue Devils against the Maryland Terrapins. Good game next week. 8th-ranked Duke, 16th-ranked Maryland, beginning next Sunday right here on CBS.
Coach K is amazing. Everybody leaves the team and then reload and right back up to the top of the nation.
1st and 10 for Kitna. Winds up and throws wide and incomplete to Derek Mays. Does Kitna look a little bit off to you today, Sam?
He does in the 2nd half. Now, starting the ball game, he was very quick with his arm on time, but they were throwing the short passes. This time, watch where the ball sails over the head of Mays right there. The ball is not even, I don't think he can get to that one if he came out of the break clean, which he didn't. But Kitna does not look sharp in the 2nd half. I don't think he was injured or anything.
I don't think he was either. He has missed his last 4.
Well, the screws are getting tighter as the game wears on because each mistake is less forgivable.
2nd down, 10 from the 35. Good block by Williams, but the rush comes from the other side, and Jason Ferguson makes the sack. Ferguson was suspended earlier, missed some games because of a sprained ankle. And comes in with the big play right here.
This is what it looks like if you're playing quarterback in the NFL and you've got Jason Ferguson fighting through the block, that time by Brian Habib. Brian Habib, of course, played for the Denver Broncos and the Super Bowl team. He knows what it's all about. He was actually glad that there was still pressure on them. He said, you know, you lose your edge when you clinch too early.
That was the first sack, Sam, by either team today. It's 3rd and 14, back at the 30. Here comes Ferguson again on the heels of kicking the pass. Is incomplete. A flag has been thrown at the 45-yard line. He was searching, Kitna was, for Joey Galloway.
Now let's see if this is going to be Galloway or if it's going to be called defensive holding.
There's no infraction on the play. The quarterback was out of the pocket.
Chucking down the field. At that point, you don't know if you've got a run or pass on your hands, so contact is not penalized. Mike Holmgren looking up, trying to see if he can see on the scoreboard inside here. He's not looking at the score in Kansas City. He's trying to see what happened on that last play.
Jeff Fiegels to punt. Special teams last week against the Chiefs. You bring him up. Sensational for the Seattle Seahawks. Dedrick Ward is back inside the 30. Good block by Milne to hold off the rush. And here comes the punt at the 20-yard line. Dedrick Ward, a block from Parmley. And then wiggles his way up to the 32. An 11-yard return. A 48-yard punt.
Last time Seattle was in these playoffs, 1988.
Oh, no.
It's
not
hard to believe.
Again.
They just beaten the Raiders.
We have seen this tape,
isn't it?
I think every week this season.
Very annoying, isn't it? Although
here's the most annoying part coming up right there. Because
yes,
I've seen that.
Hey, I want to make sure the guys in the truck give me my tape back. I'm the one that brings that in every week for replay. So.
Yeah, you're the one.
Yeah,
I see. Okay. But a great moment as you see Joey Ellams down. He was on the Pittsburgh practice squad and did not play the first 13 weeks of the season. And then Seattle brought him back. He was in the Seattle camp this past summer up in Kirkland. And he's proven to be a pretty good special teams guy. Comes in an extra pass coverage sets. It's good to see him up.
Special teams are so important in a game like this because they set up field position. The kickoff returns, as you've noticed, have been very good. One step away from breaking on both sides of the ball. Punt returns have been satisfactory, to say the least. No mistakes on the special teams end of it. And as this game gets into the fourth quarter, we're not very far from it. Field position can decide the ball game with a 7-point difference. Right now, the next team to score has a chance to win it.
From the 32, Ray Lucas, first down and 10. Pump fakes one way, looks the other, sets up a screen. There's a block by Thomas, and a great run, breaking another tackle, Curtis Martin. 16-yard gain. He has done it all today for the New York Jets. Bellamy with the tackle. Let's check in with Jim Nance in our studios in New York.
All right, Sam. Indianapolis's hopes to somehow overtake Jacksonville for home field throughout the AFC playoffs is all but over. There's the touchdown pass. Johnson to Collins. Bills up 22 with 14 minutes to play. And Rob Johnson is sensational today, filling in for Flutie. Let's go back to Vernadad.
Or Kevin and Sam.
Yes.
Or, but I'll call me Vern. Call me Vern Lundquist. I'll take
call me Johnson, though.
From the 48. Here's the reverse to Keyshawn Johnson. Read beautifully. And Chad Brown inhales Keyshawn Johnson for a loss of 10.
Chad Brown had contained to the defensive left side of the ball. And when you see the ball go the other way with a hot day that Curtis Martin has had, they were looking for him to fall back. But here he comes. This is Chad Brown, number 94, right there. Not giving up contain on the backside. Actually, Richie Anderson was supposed to make a block right there, and Chad Brown beat him across the line. 6'2", 240, part defensive lineman, part linebacker,
and
part anything else.
He's going to the Pro Bowl, too. Be a part of that trip out to Honolulu. Second down and 20 from the 38. Draw play handoff to Martin. Wiggles his way in the backfield. Chad Brown again is there with the flag thrown. Tackle is made at the 42.
Seattle Seahawks looking around now like what could have possibly happened right there. It's just us and Curtis Martin.
Fred Baxter may have had I think there it is right there.
Yeah. Seahawks looked like they thought they were being penalized, and they looked around at the official. Seattle walking around with their hands on their hips a little bit now. As if they're getting worn down defensively, is exactly what Bill Parcells had hoped to do. Keep the ball away from the Seattle offense and wear that defense down.
Illegal blocking it back. Number 84, offense. It's declined. Third down.
So it'll be 3rd and long now for the Jets, and Monday on CBS begins with The King of Queens, starring Kevin James and Jerry Stiller. Followed by Ladies' Man, then it's Monday night's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond and Becker, starring Ted Danson, plus the most noteworthy and accomplished woman of the year on the Ladies' Home Journal special. Monday on CBS. From the 41, 3rd down, 17. They missed their last 5 3rd down tries. Great blocking by Elliott. Great catch by Crevette for a first down to the 38-yard line. That was sensational. Bellamy makes the tackle. It's a gain of 21, Sam, on 3rd and 17 for the Jets.
Ray Lucas looked this one off. See him look to his left a long time, and then he finds Wayne Crevette right in the middle. Actually, Keyshawn Johnson was off to the right side. Lucas looks away from Keyshawn Johnson and back to the middle, and he told me yesterday, he said, you know, I can find Keyshawn Johnson if he's sitting in the stands somewhere. I can find him, but if he's not there, I know I can find Wayne Crevette. He's always getting open late.
Crevette, 3 catches today, 2 on 3rd down. From the Seattle 38, handoff to Martin. He got a wonderful block from Young, and he maneuvers his way down to the 33. They got 2 rookies, the Jets do. Randy Thomas, 77, and Ryan Young on that right side, all guarding the backside of Ray Lucas. If you're a Seattle fan right now, you're beginning to cringe. You're 15 minutes away from the playoffs, but can you beat Lucas and the Jets?
Talking about right now, and if the Seattle's smart, they'll get out of the way and let him talk.
Absolutely. Looked uncatchable from here. That was the first play of the 4th quarter.
You know, bring back last year's Vinny Testaverde touchdown that wasn't. They don't need another controversial call at this stage.
There's no infraction on the play.
But you know what? This crew handled it well. They met, they decided, and they corrected themselves, and that's what you want them to do.
They've done it all day, too.
Yep,
Johnny Greer's made a couple of calls where he's waited to convert. See, this one, actually, that ball's a little more catchable than it looked on the first look. But the penalty, the contact actually happened after the ball had hit the ground. So there was no factor in whether Wayne Crevette was able to make the catch or not. Good decision, good discussion by their officials.
3rd down and 6 from the Seahawks 34 for the Jets with an empty backfield and 4 receivers deployed, and Lucas will call time. He had plenty of time on the play clock. He had 11 seconds when the timeout was taken. Jets have 2 timeouts. Seattle has the fake handoff to Parnley. There goes Lucas. He's got to get to the 28-yard line. Inside the 30, down at the 29. And shy by about a yard on a 15-yard scramble. Michael Sinclair with the tackle. It'll be 4th and 1 when we come back. But right now, let's check in with Jim Nance in our NFL Today studios.
All right, fellas, I got more bad news here for Seattle because Kansas City is on the board again. It's Gerback to Joe Horn. The feet are down, and Kansas City has taken the lead with 3 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Let's see if I can get this right. Let's go back to Kevin and Sam.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep. Interesting because Gannon was a backup to Gerback last year, and he left because he wasn't going to be given the starting job in Kansas City, so he goes to the Raiders, and he's going to the Pro Bowl for Oakland, is Rich Gannon.
He's had a top year. Another one of those big quarterbacks. It works to the advantage of the New York Jets. They set Seattle up for a longer drive to get back in this one.
So Bellamy, who is from New Jersey, starring as he comes back home with a huge play. And let's see if this turns things on and sparks the Seattle Seahawks from the 17, 1st and 10. Kitna was whacked by the rushing Marvin Jones. Could not set the throw. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Remember, the Jets have a 3-4 defense. Seattle hasn't faced a 3-4 defense since week 9 when they played the Cincinnati Bengals. Marvin Jones, an inside linebacker. He just shoots the gap. No time for Kitna to get the ball off. They were looking for another quick throw, and they didn't even have time for that.
Seattle has had 3 and outs in their last 2 series, and that's what Kitna is trying to avoid again. 2nd down and 10. Good block by Jones. Kitna throws deep. Almost picked off by Coleman on a pass intended for Sean Dawkins at the 39. It's 3rd and 10.
The New York Jets are just playing more aggressive and playing harder than the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry, Seattle, you've got everything on the line, but watch the effort right at the end by Dawkins right here. Instead of fighting through and scrambling and fighting, it looks like just a reach in to try to make something happen there. The protection has not been as good as it should be. And when you match up offensive line and defensive line, regardless of who has the ball, the New York Jets have come out on top this afternoon.
Buffalo running away from Indy and other scores. John Kitna has missed his last 7 passes. It's 3rd and 10. Good block by Gray through the hands and incomplete of fullback Reggie Brown. 3 and out for the 3rd consecutive time for Seattle.
And I'm watching the body language of both teams as they leave the field. And Seattle leaves the field almost as if, what do? We don't know where to go next. They've had some confusion on defense earlier in the game. Anthony Simmons was just furious with some of the calls coming from the sideline. They couldn't get the right personnel in. And now on offense, as you mentioned, they've stalled and haven't moved the ball at all.
Fiegels the punt. High and hanging. Dedrick Ward circling under it with the catch back at about the 35-yard line. Gets a block, runs into his own, and brought down by Mac Strong. And look at the beginning field position for the Jets at their own 44. 48-yard punt. New York on top by 7.
Look at Coach Mike Holmgren getting all over John Kitna. John Kitna, though, has not been the same quarterback in the second half that he was in the first. In the first half, 14 for 23, 161 yards. In the second half, 5 for 15, only 55 yards.
From the 44, 1st and 10 pitch out. Great tackle is made by Philip Daniels. It goes off to Curtis Martin, who picks up 3 yards on a day where he became the all-time leading single-season rusher for the New York Jets. 145 yards. A spectacular day for Martin.
He's special. That's the best move Bill Parcells made when he came here, getting that player. And he knew the player, of course. He knew what he was getting, and he knew he was the guy he could build the offense around. Especially once Vinny Testaverde went out, he had to have a guy like that ready to go and develop Ray Lucas.
2nd down, 7. There goes a flag, and they stop that play in mid-motion.
Movement on the offensive line.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 76, offense.
2nd penalty on Jumbo Elliott. He's had 2 in this half.
As we watch the rest of this ball game, you'll see the New York Jets slow everything down between the plays. They don't want to take the emotion out of this, and they won't, because I am sure that the Jets are smelling a possible 8-8 season. But they're going to slow down between plays, use that clock, try not to give the ball back to Seattle more than 2 more times. They'll get it no more than about 3 more tries in this game, probably only 2 more drives for Seattle.
And the Jets have been the supreme spoiler, ending this season 2nd down 12. Martin crawling past the 45. A gain of 4 to the 46. Well, the Chiefs and Raiders making headlines again. Let's go back to New York and Jim Nantz.
Yeah, it's about an update every minute, Kevin and Sam. And check this out. Kansas City, again, if it loses, gives the division title to Seattle, regardless of what the Seahawks do. And Tyrone Wheatley, with a brilliant 27-yard touchdown run, has put Oakland back ahead. And they've reached the end of the 3rd quarter in Kansas City.
Wow.
Let's go back to the Meadowlands.
Thank you, Jim, very much. That is the 5th lead change in that game. Wow. Incredible. 3rd down, long 8 from the 45. Lucas winding up and going deep down the side. Broken up beautifully by Springs. Jousting with Keyshawn Johnson. Incomplete, and the Jets have got a punt.
Keyshawn Johnson against Sean Springs. Bill Parcells makes all the calls, and he is not going conservative in the 4th quarter and run the clock out on the ground. Taking his shot down the field. When you get a one-on-one opportunity like that, Keyshawn Johnson will make a play, even against a great player like Sean Springs.
2 put a punt. Deep back, Charlie Rogers for Seattle at about the 10. Great punt. At the 5, a terrific Jets bounce. Stone got it. Did he stay out of the end zone? Looked like he threw it back in. And they're going to down it, Sam, at the 1-yard line. That was saved by Dwight Stone.
Field position and special teams.
Terrific play.
Look at this. Now unload the ball before you go in. If your foot touches that line while you've got possession of that ball, it's going out to the 20.
Good point. Perfect play.
He's free. Nice. And The ball is recovered. Nobody else has been in the end zone, so it's legal right there. Field position, special teams, to me, affect more ball games after turnovers. Turnovers always are the #1 factor in the outcome of games. When you get evenly matched teams, those special teams kick in and win or lose for you.
From the 3-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Amon Green, who is in for the first time. He picks up 4, chugging ahead up to the 6. So out of the game is Ricky Waters. That injury must be getting to him, and Amon Green is in. And tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be a football fan to love the guy who coaches them. Mike Wallace scrimmages with Bill Parcells. Followed by an all-new Touched by an Angel, then go beyond the prairie for the true story of Laura Ingalls Wilder tonight on CBS. 2nd down and 6 from the 6. Pass caught by Fourier, spins around, picks up the first down. He's up at the 15. Seattle's first down, Sam, since 11 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. The hobbled Waters watches from the side.
They miss him not only 100% on the field, but they miss his emotion on the sideline. I think that's affected them somewhat. Maybe the travel and all that goes with it. But he is normally the inspirational leader. He's usually ranting and raving up the sideline right now if the team is not fired up, and you see he must be in some pain and he's just not doing it.
1st and 10 from the 15. Kitna down the middle, another short pass caught by, or was it dropped? Incomplete. Mays could not hold on to an incomplete pass. Coverage was by Victor Green, who should have been in the Pro Bowl, was not voted in, but has had a great season again. The New York Jets, the former rookie free agent who has worked his way up to starter.
Leads the team in tackles, 5 interceptions this year, all over in the coverage right here, just strips the ball loose. Quick throws again. Now they know they don't have Ricky Waters back there. Amon Green only carried the ball 25 times coming into this game, so he's got 26 carries all year long. You can't use him as your bread and butter. You're going to have to go to your passing game.
2nd down 10 from the 15. The rush was on. It came up the middle. It was authored by James Ferrier and Erica Bagu. Anthony Pleasant. They were all in there, but Ferrier again, for a 2nd time today, was inside Kitna's jersey.
Here he comes. He makes the move. They had a little game going with the defensive end and Ferrier coming inside. He's there before Kitna. I think he's standing back there waiting on Kitna to finish his drop. That's the 5th straight time that Seattle has ended in a 3rd and 10 situation or longer, and they have to take a timeout to decide what to do.
Sam, they burn their final timeout with 9.5 minutes to play. After the final timeout taken by Seattle, Mike Holmgren is sending his play. It's 3rd and 10. Sam, they have missed their last 6 third downs.
And the last 5 in a row have been for 10 yards or longer, meaning they're not getting much done on 1st and 2nd down. And they're running out of time here because the New York Jets are doing a good job of eating up the clock every time they get the ball.
Huge play for Seattle from their own 15. 3rd and 10. Good time for Kitna. Down the middle and dropped by Dawkins on a slide at the 31. Seattle has dropped quite a few balls today. 3 to be exact. 2 by Dawkins, and they got a punt from deep in their own zone.
Remember the last drop by Dawkins? I said, remember that play because it's going to play a role in this game. That's the 2nd one. Remember those 2 plays. They were both 3rd down and 10 or more, and they were both catchable balls, and obviously would have kept the drive going for the Seattle Seahawks. Now field position for the Jets when this is over with.
Eagles to punt. High, but not very long. Not long at all. Ward fair catches it at the 45. What's surprising about this game is that Seattle has played so well on the road at Pittsburgh, at Green Bay, at Kansas City in big games this year. This is the biggest by far. And the emotion, the passion you'd expect to see, at least from our vantage point up here, has not been seen. And after this game, it'll be game 2 for many of you folks. You'll see Miami at Washington. Miami still very much alive in the playoff race, but they need a lot of things to happen to get in. Redskins are in, and they'll be watching, of course, that giant Dallas game later today
And a lot of for the Miami Dolphins, a lot of it rides on the way they play today. If they get into the playoffs, they've got to pick up their play from the way they have the last few weeks, especially with their quarterback situation with Dan Marino.
From the 46, a 1st and 10 handoff goes to Martin with no gain, and Cortez Kennedy saw to that, going to a Pro Bowl again, his 8th consecutive Pro Bowl. He's been healthy this year, Sam, and that's been a big key for his success.
He really wanted to play well today. As I mentioned earlier in the game, that he came up to me yesterday and he said, look, I have not been to a playoff in all the years I've been playing football. Been to the Pro Bowl 8 times. We're going for the 8th time. I want to go to the playoffs. Watch me play. But the emotion just has not been there for Seattle this ball game.
2nd and 10. Lucas throws a pass caught by Quebec, backpedaling at the Seattle 40-yard line, a gain of 14 yards. A hard hit by Brown and by Springs as the frustration begins to bubble over now for Seattle. A big first down catch by Quebec.
And a good non-call by the official. Let him shove a little bit right now, but don't get into the ball game with a personal foul at the end. Quebec, you see the clear out. He turns underneath. This shows a lot of confidence from Bill Parcells and his quarterback, Ray Lucas, though. Putting the ball in the air down the field like that, tight coverage in a tight ball game.
4 catches for Quebec. Another big day from the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Martin again. Trying to run outside. Not much there. Gain of 2. Simmons and Kennedy make the tackle.
Ray Lucas let the clock go down to 3 seconds before the ball was snapped on that last one. Good job of watching the 40-second clock, letting it get down as tight as he can, eating up as much time between plays.
Well, Seattle has no timeouts. They're out of timeouts.
They're not going to get the ball very easily. They could get the ball one more time in this ball game, and they could get the ball having to score more than 1 time if this drive continues for the Jets.
So this is the most important defensive series for Seattle.
Absolutely.
Next offensive series will be huge. 2nd down and 8. Lucas throws outside, leaping catch by Anderson. Great defensive play by Willie Williams on the side, all over Richie Anderson, allowing a meager gain of a yard.
Clock continues to run, though. That's important at this point. Slowly but surely, they get back into the huddle as we look at the scores. Jacksonville extends their lead. Important for them, trying to build home field advantage and that bye on opening playoff week.
Rest their quarterback, the injured Mark Brunell.
New England, although it may be a little bit late there for that group. And Tampa Bay looks like they're going to win the Central of the NFC.
Those 2 teams will be in. Yeah, Detroit, Minnesota. 3rd down and 7 from the 37. Empty backfield for Lucas. Down the middle. Caught by Dedrick Ward. Makes a first down, slicing his way to the 22. His first catch today. Joey Elms makes the grab. A 15-yard gain. Lucas is right on the money.
3 receivers to the left. He hits the second one. You see Quebec inside of him. Coverage a little bit soft as he came inside by Joey Elms. And that was a big first down. Not only did he keep the drive going, they are now in field goal range. That extends the lead for more than a touchdown if they make it.
You know, Sam, he works in the shadows of both Johnson and Quebec, but that is a nice 3rd receiving option that they have. It's 1st and 10 from the 22 of Seattle. Jets going right through him, and here comes Martin. He's had a huge day today, tackled by Chad Brown and Cortez Kennedy.
And Martin that time smart enough to know that now's the time in the game they're going to be trying to strip the ball. They'll try to stand me up, pull the ball loose, had both hands over the football. You can see Mike Holmgren. We saw his frustration earlier after the offense came on the field without getting anything done, using up all their timeouts in the process. They really left themselves in a tough situation right now because they've not been able to stop the Jets from just using the clock.
This is a killer.
The emotion is the key to this. We've said it several times, but they look without energy.
2nd down, 7 from the 19. Anderson in motion. Handoff goes to Martin. Dancing outside, breaking a tackle of Adams, and finally brought down on the side by Willie Williams and Darrell Williams after a gain of 2.
You know, one of the ways you can tell that a team is a little bit short on the energy is how many people are around the ball at the end of the play and who's pursuing to the ball in case there's a fumble to pick it up. We're not seeing that from Seattle, and frankly haven't seen it all day long. And another one of my tips, look how many hands are on the hips right there by that defensive unit. Instead of pumping each other up, talking about let's go, get it up, everybody play hard, they're just taking a break, trying to recover so they can save a little energy for the next snap.
3rd and 5. Keyshawn only 1 catch today in the second half. Empty backfield, 5 receivers. And to the end zone for Johnson, guarded by Canty. Incomplete, no yellow on the field. No penalty flag thrown. It's incomplete. They're going to try it for 3, and it could be a huge 3 points for the Jets.
Here's Keyshawn Johnson. He's going to go to the corner. He's going to hold the coverage here. 1-on-1, Chris Canty. A little bit of contact right there, but Chris Canty was trying to turn to get back to the ball. Ball was over everybody's head. They took their shot. It was 3rd down. They took their shot knowing they were going to go for the field goal on 4th down.
Now here's Hall trying from 35 yards away. This would make it most difficult for Seattle. And again, no timeouts. Ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Jets now lead by 10, 4:21 to play. Seattle trailing 19-9, and no timeout, Sam. It is going to be very, very difficult.
Very difficult because they're doing it without Ricky Watters, or if he's in the ball game, he is clearly not 100%. Of course, the no timeouts doesn't help either, because the Jets will know they've got to go to the sideline, and the AFC picture becomes a little clearer as we start to sense the outcome of this ball game. Kansas City and Oakland, though, very much in doubt. Jacksonville winning. Tampa Bay looks like they're going to win the NFC Central.
Giants and Dallas will play later today. Carolina is winning. Green Bay is winning. One of the things for the Giants to get in was for Green Bay to lose. But Green Bay is pounding Arizona.
Ricky Watters is the key to this ball game in terms of the effort and the enthusiasm and the get up and go of the Seattle Seahawks. Looks like he's warming up there on that bicycle on the sideline, though, to go back in the game.
4 field goals today by John Hall, ties a career high. That Jets drive took 5 minutes off the 4th quarter clock. It was huge. The ensuing kickoff. Grabbed by Rodgers at the 10-yard line, running across the field, getting some blocks, finding a crease. Then Scott Frost, the former Nebraska quarterback who led him to a national championship, makes the tackle. And look at this young fella on the field. That is not Wayne Corbett. Tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be a football fan to love the guy who coaches them. Mike Wallace scrimmages with Bill Parcells. That is tonight on 60 Minutes.
And Bill, for the future of Bill Parcells and this team, still a little bit in doubt as he really doesn't know himself. Talking to him yesterday, what he's going to do after this season, was hoping that the ownership transition would have taken place prior to the end of the season. It has not.
1st and 10 pick. Great catch by Fourier. Tumbles for a 1st down up to the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 14. Now you begin your 2-minute offense with no timeouts and 4 to play.
You have to. You've got no alternative, and which means also that your substitution is hurt. You're going to have to go with those guys that are on the field. And now the communication is crucial between the quarterback and the rest of the team.
1st and 10 from the 42. Kitten it down the middle, looking for a receiver off the fingertips of the lunging Fourier. Incomplete. Covered by Mickens and Omar Stoutmeyer. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Mickens looks like he's a little bit shaken up. In fact, he's not getting up.
Clock is stopped at 3:43.
Fell right on the football or right on somebody's knee there and knocked the wind out of him. Is first indication I get from that body language.
Mickens was a starter early on, taking the place of the injured Otis Smith. Then Coleman began to emerge. Now Mickens comes in passing situations.
Now this stops the clock, obviously, which is a plus for Seattle to regroup. And now they need to get as many thoughts together as they can, not just on this next snap, but what they're going to do if the clock is running. They got to get back to the line of scrimmage so they don't waste time at the line making the call. Those few seconds add up. On the right side of the screen right here, you'll see the New York Jets running together, and this is where the injury takes place. Head-on collision. Ray Mickens running right into his teammate, Victor Green. Victor Green looks like he wins that collision.
So they're going to take Mickens out, and they're going to put in Del Lee, number 35, a guy they just picked up over the last couple weeks. So he is now in the game.
He's a rookie. 4-man rush by the Jets. They're still going to bring the pressure.
2nd down and 10 from the Seattle 42. Down the middle it goes. Bobbled and seal the fate of the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle was trying to work down the middle, figuring that the Jets would be taking away the outside. Roman Pfeiffer right there. Beautiful concentration because he didn't make the clean interception. Bats it straight up in the air and then keeps his eye on it. Kidna looking down the middle all the way. A little bit of a hole to begin with. Oh, that's pretty.
Last week he intercepted Marino and took it down to the 1-yard line in that big win in Miami. It comes up with a huge play right there. Seattle without a single timeout. Jets have one. 1st and 10 New York inside the Seattle 41. Martin again over 155 yards today, tackled by Darrell Williams. Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8.
And now you've got 8 and 9 people around the ball. The only chance Seattle has, of course, is the turnover. No timeouts. They can't stop the ball as a defensive timeout. Mike Holmgren understands what has happened, and the speech he gave to the team earlier in the week. I mean, you don't get to this point very often. You may never get back here. There's nothing guaranteed in this league.
Now you got to hope. Yeah, exactly. Now you got to hope that Kansas City loses. And the last we saw, and there you see it, losing to Oakland by 4 halfway through the 4th quarter.
If Kansas City loses, Seattle still goes to the playoff.
And they're the champs, and Kansas City is out. And the handoff on 2nd down goes to Martin, upended, head over heels, a gain of 2. Make it Richie Anderson taking it. And now we're winding down to the 2-minute warning.
Remember, if Kansas City loses to the Oakland Raiders, even if there is a loss here, Seattle is still the AFC West champion. Only a tie throws everything out, and they could become wild card contenders.
Remember this, though, about Oakland, Sam. They have lost 5 games this year where they have led in the 4th quarter, including blowing a 14-point lead against the Chiefs in their first meeting a couple weeks ago out in the Bay Area.
This game looks like it's going to end prior to the end of that ball game, and so they're going to be watching to see their fate somewhere else, because they have come in here and just not played as well as they did when they were winning their other football games, or as well as they played last week against those Kansas City Chiefs.
And what about, and you see the signs, stay Bill Parcells. You talked to him yesterday at length. He was very up after the game last week. You think he'll come back for another season?
You know, he said he didn't know, and I believe that. I think right now, if he had to make a decision, that he would, because he was so excited about the victory over Miami, the play of his team, saying that just coming to work is a joy because he's got good people, not just good players, but people that want to play and will play hard for him. All his job is to get them ready. But I think he's got other things to think about. Who the new owner is going to be. Remember, as he pointed out, the new owner may come in and change. I said, hold it, Bill. You're not going to. The owner's not going to come in and get rid of you. He said, you never know. You know, those kind of things could happen too.
Kansas City has just scored another touchdown. They lead Oakland 38-35. 4th quarter, 6th lead change there. It's 3rd down and 6. The pass caught by Quebec, close to a 1st down at the 30-yard line. In fact, he gets it by a half-yard. He's tackled on the play by Springs. A gain of 7 on 3rd and 6 for the Jets. We are at the 2-minute warning. It's looking grim for Holmgren in Seattle. Chance of one more year as they direct that to Bill Parcells.
Talking to Ray Lucas, I asked him what he thought yesterday, and he said, you know, just knowing Bill Parcells, he doesn't want to go out without a winning year. And this one's going to be 8-8. Terrific winning 2nd half of the season. But he thinks that Bill Parcells will come back for that one more year.
1st down and 10. Seattle no timeouts. To a knee goes Lucas. Boy, the spoilers role has been played to a hilt by the Jets. They've damaged yet another team's playoff hopes today. Mike Holmgren. The executive producers of the NFL and CBS, Sean McManus and Terry Ewert. We especially thank our coordinating producer, Larry Cavallina, our producer today, Bob Dekas. And today we say thank you and goodbye to one of the real gentlemen in the network television business, a guy who has been a part of over 3 decades of AFL and NFL network coverage. He's been a part of broadcasting Super Bowls and championships in all the major sports, countless Olympics, political conventions and news broadcasts, and he's done it with incredible grace. an unbelievable class. Dick Klein, it's been a privilege and an honor to be with you. And the nice thing today, Sam, is his wife Barbara is down in the truck with all of our people. And Dick, you've gone out on top as you've done it your entire career. We all say thank you so very, very much for all the wonderful moments you've given us at CBS and at NBC before this in your broadcasting career. Thank you.
We echo that up here. I do, Dick Klein. And you hear that chant, one more year, they're talking to you, Dick Klein.
That's right.
As well as Bill Parcells.
3rd and 12, no timeouts, seconds ticking off, and now the best Seattle can do is hope for a miracle in Kansas City. And what about the Jets? Winning their 4th consecutive game. They've won 7 of their last 9, and Bill Parcells has done it again. Mike Holmgren and Seattle led by 3 games in the West with 6 to play. They have now lost 5 of their final 6 games in this season. Ray Lucas, an emerging star in the NFL, finishing with a flurry. Outstanding play.
And last week, New York knocked off Miami, put Buffalo in the playoffs. This week, by beating Seattle, they put Miami into the playoffs.
Big day for Lucas and Curtis Martin. Now for Sam Weish, Kevin Harlan. Thank you for watching. Let's go to Jim Nantz in our CBS studios.
All right, thank you so much there, Kevin and Sam. So Miami is in, and now Kansas City controls its own destiny. A Chief win gives them the 3 spot in the AFC playoffs. If they lose, Seattle is back in as the West champion. Let's go to KC. Here's Ian Eagle.
On 3rd down. Gannon throwing. Incomplete. Kansas City's defense has once again come up big. We want to welcome those of you who've been watching the Seahawks and the Jets. 19-9, New York has defeated Seattle.
In Kansas City right now, Ian knows they win the game. They not only get to the playoffs, but they win the AFC West division. This is a time where your offense has to take control of your offensive line. You've got to be able to run the ball, take time off the clock, and put points on the board, and it's all yours for the taking.
High punt for Aragoose from the 42. Vanover trying to circle to the outside. Runs into a crowd at the 48, and Randy Jordan was the first man there on special teams. 6-yard return. Kansas City in control of its own destiny, leading 38-35. A must-win situation for the Kansas City Chiefs as they lead Oakland 38-35 with 6:47 to play in the 4th. Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew on hand at Arrowhead. Handoff to Donnell Bennett going up the middle. Into Oakland territory and brought down at the 47-yard line, a gain of 4. It has been a wild game from the very start. And Kansas City can now see the light at the end of the tunnel. The Miami Dolphins are now in the playoffs thanks to the Jets' victory over Seattle. So the Jets do a favor for their division rivals, the Dolphins. Now it comes down 2 teams, 1 spot available. Chiefs, Seahawks. Kansas City wins, they're in. Kansas City loses, Seattle's in. 2nd and 6. Bennett again. To the 45. A gain of 2. Greg Biekert the tackle.
And this is the part of the game where you hang your hat on your offensive line and get the ball to Tony Gonzalez. Run the ball, pound the ball, and get it to your tight end with short intermediate passes. You don't need to stretch this defense anymore. If you want to get big runs in this defense, you spread them out and run the ball. They're going with 2 tight ends. Lonnie Johnson goes in motion. Tony Gonzalez is on the line of scrimmage. They're pounding the ball. Too many men in the box. Oakland has 8 men in the box. Spread that defensive out if you want a big run.
Chiefs need first downs. This is still very much a ball game. Play action. Gerback forced out of the pocket. Floats one in the air. A dangerous pass, and it's incomplete. Lance Johnstone applied the pressure. Gerback on the run. And the Chiefs face a 4th down.
This is a dangerous play. They fake the ball right to Donnell Bennett. Elvis Gerback wants to roll out to the left in an open boot. He can't because of the pass pressure by Lance Johnstone. No one blocks him. No one blocks Eric Martin. There are two guys out there. He's got to try to make a play to the other side of the field. He can't get there. Good pursuit by the Oakland defense.
Daniel Pope had a punt blocked earlier today. Almost had a second one blocked. Ralph Tam will snap it. Pope lays into it. Darian Gord, fair catch signal, brings it in at the 10, and that's where the Raiders will have it, trailing Kansas City by 3. Look at the game summary and the numbers. Kansas City has racked up some major yardage with 384 total yards. 2 touchdown returns, one on a punt return, another on an interception return. Raiders got one back on a block punt, and Kenny Shedd took it the distance for the score. Gannon and Gerback both got off to slow starts. Former teammates, friends. They both picked up their games, and now it rests on the right shoulder, not of Elvis Gerback, but of Rich Gannon, the former chief. 5:10 left to play in the fourth. Handoff. Kaufman running into the line, and he picked up 2. Chester McLaughlin the tackle.
Chester McLaughlin is a load in the middle. It usually takes 2 offensive linemen to block him, but he does an outstanding job of holding up 2, allowing those linebackers and Donnie Edwards and Marcus Patton to make the tackles. But McLaughlin's had an outstanding year. Not a lot of sacks, only 2, but he had 53 quarterback pressures coming into the game, and he has another 2 today.
That was Tyrone Wheatley on the carry. 14th carry, 86 yards. Gannon wants to throw it. Steps up, under a rush and complete. Ricky Dudley, the tight end, for a huge gainer. Out across the 40-yard line. His first catch of the day, and it's good for 30 yards. And it quiets this Kansas City crowd.
That's the first time that Rich Gannon's thrown towards Ricky Dudley. He just goes right across the field to play. He's covered by Donnie Edwards. He's not big or strong enough to go by him, but Dudley at 6'6", 255 pounds, fights through the pressure, goes across the field. Rich Gannon dumps it off to him, and he picks up huge yardage on the play.
What a tough game to figure out. Once you think one team is done, they come up with a big gainer. Wheatley struggling forward as he picks up a yard. Tom Bart with the stop. Clock is moving. 4:15 and counting left in the fourth. The Oakland Raiders with a record of 7-8 this season. Last year they were winning the close games. This year, not the case.
That just shows a sign of a good football team that knows how to finish. When you're in close battles, you finish off your opponent. The Raiders haven't been able to do that this season.
2nd and 9 from the 43. Gannon will put it in the air. Or will he? Gannon is sacked. Back at the 36, Leslie O'Neal.
And with that sack, old Leslie O'Neal goes by LT. Lawrence Taylor right there at the end. It's Leslie O'Neal at the end. He just pinches inside. It's a palm stunt. Both end and tackle goes inside. McLaughlin outside, brings him down with a one-hand lasso, and Leslie O'Neal picks up his 133rd sack of his career.
Now in 6th place in NFL history. 3rd and 15. Huge play for this Kansas City defense. Gannon stepping up. Pump fake, throwing into double coverage. It's incomplete. Tim Brown, the intended receiver. Dishman had the coverage. And Oakland will punt with 3:19 remaining.
Fantastic job of coverage, but a great play by Reggie Tongue. They're not going to let Tim Brown one-on-one all by himself, but Chris Dishman is right there fighting him to the end, but breaking on the ball. At the end of the play is Reggie Tongue knocking it away, tipping it right there along with Dishman. They're not going to let Tim Brown run free. Fighting him down the field of play is Chris Dishman. That's a good fight on Chris Dishman's behalf.
Aragu standing at his own 22. Low snap, handles it. Vanover. From the 18, a fair catch signal. He had all kinds of room in front of him. And he didn't recognize it. He went the conservative route on the 45-yard punt, and he knows it. Marek Vanover could have given Kansas City some extra yardage, and he's saying, my bad.
And he's had an interesting day today. Big return right off the bat early, got injured, came back into the game, but now he looks away. There's nobody around him. He's just saying, wait a minute. Why am I calling for a fair catch in this situation?
Way too early. Way too early to make that fair catch signal. 1st and 10 at the 18. Donnell Bennett running into a crowd, and he gets to the 20. Eric Barton, first man there as he picks up 2. Want to go to the games? You can be there. Playoff tickets are available online through NFL.com. And Kansas City has taken a timeout. Oakland takes the timeout with 3:01 left in the 4th. Kansas City is hoping that playoff tickets will be available here at Arrowhead, because if they win the AFC West title with a win, they'll host a playoff game.
One thing about this crowd, there is not one soul in this stadium that has left. They are getting their price of admission. This is the way it should be. The end of the season, the last game here of the regular season this year, or this season I should say, since it's a new year, and you're fighting for the playoffs. Not only the playoffs, the AFC West division, that's excitement. I remember when I played in the NFL, it would always come down to Washington, Dallas, Washington Giants. At the end of the year, packed stadium, you knew you had to win the game, the pressure was on your shoulders. Hey, if you want to win it, go out and take it, and that's what the Chiefs are going to do.
11 straight losses for Oakland in Arrowhead. Kansas City having a tough time getting yardage. Bennett met by Barton. 2:57 left in the 4th. And the Raiders use another timeout with just 1 remaining. John Gruden, 2nd year as the head coach of the Raiders. And he knows how much this game means, not only to this team, but to the owner, Al Davis. Beating the Chiefs have been a tall order. They've lost 18 of 20, 5 straight, 11 in a row at Arrowhead. They didn't win a game in Arrowhead in the 90s. That's all you have to know.
And that's got to be frustrating for Al Davis and the Oakland Raiders. When you sit back and think about it, the entire 90s not winning a game in a stadium when you play them each and every year, you've got to find a way to combat that. And when we talked to John Gruden, he told us point blank, for us to do something in the AFC West, we've got to find a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. When I played for the Washington Redskins, when we were good, we could beat everybody. But when we were bad, we had to find a way to beat the good teams. We had to find a way to beat the Giants. Once we could beat the Giants, we could get to the playoffs.
Here's a pivotal 3rd down, 3rd and 8. Gerback. Flushed out. On the run. Throwing out of bounds. The Oakland Raiders defense has done what John Gruden asked them to do. And now Kansas City will be forced to punt it away.
And when you look at the running game of the Kansas City Chiefs, they've done an outstanding job during the day. But the last 2 series, they've gotten very conservative, running it between the tackles when there were 8 men in the box. You're not going to pick up a lot of yardage in that situation.
Daniel Polk, a high punt. Gordon, fair catch at the 38. Raiders again have good field position, trailing by only 3. But one thing that has been a problem for John Gruden and company, the kicking game, pressure kicks, and losing close games. A field goal here, a field goal there, and maybe it's the Raiders playing for a division title here today.
Absolutely. When we talked to John Gruden, he said the 2 keys that have hurt us this year, 1 turnovers and 2 our kicking game. So look for the Oakland Raiders to have new kickers on this roster next year.
Spot the football just shy of the 40. 2:46 on the game clock. We're in the 4th. Kansas City 38, Oakland 35. Gannon underneath to John Ritchie, barreling forward, shy of a 1st down. Had to get to the 50. He picked up 8. Patton and Thomas combining to make that stop. And the clock is moving with 2:30 and counting. Raiders still have 1 timeout left and the 2-minute warning.
All they have to do is get this ball in field goal position to tie this up. Rich Gannon has done an excellent job all day long, looking off down the field to play to his wide receivers.
For the Kansas City Chiefs, the regular season has come down to the final 2 minutes. 38-35. Chiefs in front. Gunther Cunningham's club with a chance to finish off the year 10-6, champions of the AFC West. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader is coming up with these matchups: Miami, Washington, San Diego, Denver, Tennessee, Pittsburgh. 1st and 10 for Oakland at the KC 45, double tight end set. Gannon, Wheatley couldn't catch it. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, you talk about hungry dogs after fresh meat. Derek Thomas and Leslie O'Neal got such a start on the snap count. As soon as the ball was snapped, they were by the protectors of the Oakland Raiders and on Rich Gannon's back. He did a great job of just getting rid of the football, but the pressure that's put on by these two the entire afternoon. Leslie O'Neal in his 14th season, Derek Thomas in his 11th, both in the top 10 in all-time sacks in NFL history.
2nd and 10. 3 receiver alignment. Gannon will throw it on the slant. Tim Brown. And a fight breaks out following. Flags come down. Looked like a pickup of 9 or 10 yards. It appears as if Brown, after making the catch, just threw the football in the air, and Kansas City defensive players thought, hey, there's a loose football. Ron George scooped it up thinking it was a fumble.
Ryan, that's a situation where the officiating crew has to step in. If it's a reception and he's down, blow the whistle, mark it dead so guys don't injure one another. Now a personal foul penalty is called against Oakland. And that is a big call against this team. They're moving the ball offensively.
You know emotions run high in these Raider-Chiefs games, but have to keep your cool here.
Unnecessary roughness on the offense, number 73, 15 yards. We'll repeat, 2nd down.
And that's Darrell Ashmore, who's a backup, who's only in this game because of a calf injury to Lincoln Kennedy. The starting right tackle who has played every game of his career. He's never set out with an injury until today. Gruden disgusted. Look at that facial expression. Second half of the doubleheader is coming up. Miami, Washington, San Diego, Denver, Tennessee, Pittsburgh. And John Gruden is irate. Just seems that something happens to this team late in games where they just can't pull out close victories.
And I think he's saying exactly what I said. If he was down, how come the whistle wasn't blowing to stop the play? The ball's flying around. His guys are going for it. They get in a fight after the play, and it costs his team. That pass was close to being incomplete. Nice slant pattern by Tim Brown. Comes across formation. He has the ball.
Now watch, the ball just comes out of here.
And the play should be over. If he caught the ball, the play's over. And he caught the ball.
The officials were late on that play. You get another angle of it. And there it is. It wasn't Brown that threw it out of there. It was the defender, James Hasty. So the question becomes, is this a catch or not? To me, that's a catch.
That's a catch to me also. And if that's a catch and he's down, the play should be whistled dead. It's over. The penalty at the end is probably what John Gruden is most frustrated about because it just cost his team big-time field position.
That's a 9-yard catch, which then turns into a 15-yard penalty on the personal foul. It was James Hasty that ripped the ball free and threw it out of there.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It was a completed catch.
Obviously, the coaching staffs were not questioning that because under 2 minutes to play, it's the officials that look at the replays, but that's not what Gruden wanted to hear. He wanted to hear that it's a completed pass, and the penalty should be waived off because it took place afterwards.
Absolutely. And going back to what you stated before, whenever it's a critical point of a ball game for the Oakland Raiders. They found a way to shoot themselves in the foot this year. They can't win the close games. They've missed field goals when they should have won games. They've been right there at the wire. They haven't been able to convert at the end of the game.
The officials still huddling up.
Come on now.
Oakland was ready to go to the line of scrimmage. There's still 1:46 left on the clock. And what we assume is a 2nd and 16.
There's a lot riding on this game. Let's make sure we get this right and continue with this game.
It is 2nd and 16 for Oakland. Back in their own territory at the 49. 3 receiver set. Gannon throwing. Zach Crockett releasing out of the backfield, and he's twirled out at the 42-yard line by Chris Dishman. Second half of the doubleheader is coming up. Miami at Washington. Others will see San Diego at Denver and Tennessee at Pittsburgh. That was a gain of 8. Bringing up 3rd and 8. Obviously 4-down territory now with everything on the line.
And does Kurt Schottenheimer's defense stand pat, or do they attack the passer? He's had a lot of success this afternoon of blitzing and getting towards Rich Gannon.
Here's Gannon. Throws it upstairs. Incomplete. Tim Brown had it. Matched up with Hasty. 4th down, Oakland.
One-on-one on the outside, he's pressing, so what do? You run the fade. Tim Brown does a great job of getting to the outside, uses the arm, rips him to the side, but James Hasty uses his body, turns around, gets a finger on the ball, but Tim Brown has a chance to catch that football. No bigger play in this game than that one right there. Huge play for the Kansas City defense.
It comes down to this. On 4th down. Gannon, the former Chief, play clock, ran out. Chiefs fans think that the game is over, but the play was whistled dead. They ran out of time on the play clock.
Delay on the offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Another mistake late.
And that's what's been the Achilles heel of this Oakland Raiders football team and almost this franchise out of the entire decade of the 90s. They haven't found a way to beat an opponent when it counts. But here's the situation. You've got to get the ball inside the 35-yard line. That's all there is to it. You cannot run a short route. You can't dump it out and hope for a long run. You've got to make sure you get the ball inside the 35, so at least you get a 1st down.
4th and 13. Former Chief, Gannon, stepping up, throwing. Tim Brown is open. 1st down, Oakland. Inside the 30-yard line. They got 20 yards. What a big-time throw by Rich Gannon.
And the reason why the play is successful, Eric Warfield had Tim Brown one-on-one. He slipped on the play when Tim Brown made his plant to make the cut at the end of the route. He slipped and fell. Tim Brown was wide open.
Coming up on 1 minute to play in the 4th and a 3-point game. Gannon deflected. Incomplete. McLaughlin got a piece.
Take another look at the play previous to this where Tim Brown was one-on-one. He made his move. It's to the outside. Eric Warfield, number 44, will be on the ground. He slips on his coverage, but luckily enough, there's a safety that comes over, Jerome Woods, and helps him on the play and downs Tim Brown, but he trips right there and slips. At the end of the play, it's Reggie Tongue that downs Tim Brown. Big play by Tim Brown of staying with his route and Rich Gannon reading the route well.
If Kansas City had stopped them there, the Chiefs would be in the playoffs right now. Now it's a 2nd and 10 for Oakland. Gannon on the floater for Richie. Able to get out of bounds at the 21-yard line. He picked up 6. And the clock stops with 55 seconds to play. His 8th catch of the day, and they are certainly now moving within field goal range for Joe Nedney. But he missed 2 key field goals last week in the loss to San Diego. They have been searching for a consistent field goal kicker. Michael Husted could not do the job. John Gruden now banking on Nedney as you see scores around the NFL. 55 seconds left, a 3rd and 3. 3 receiver set, going for it all, and nobody home. Incomplete with 50 seconds left on the clock. And 4th down. Oakland will go for the tie.
If I'm Gunther Cunningham, I make Mr. Nedney think about this kick long and hard, if he could. Here's a situation. It's the biggest kick of his career for the Oakland Raiders.
38-yard field goal attempt. The snapper is Adam True. The holder, Leo Aragus. For the tie, Nedney, 38 yards away. He's got it. 38-38. The Oakland Raiders have come down the field, and they have given Nedney a chance to tie it up.
All right, Jim Nantz in New York. That was bonus coverage from Kansas City. Folks, we'll keep you posted on that game. Coming up, your late games. Many will see Miami against Washington. Others, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Denver. For some of you, this concludes your coverage of the NFL today on CBS. Thanks for being with us. And for those of you continuing on, we'll keep you updated. Jim Nantz in New York. And second game action is coming up on CBS after this word from your local station.
Or not that was a catch. The officials claim that it was at the 29-yard line. That took a bounce.
That did. That hit the ground.
That's going to be overturned.
He did not field this cleanly. Right between his arms.
Charles Woodson with the coverage. If the play stands, it's a 46 or 47-yard field goal. And I think these officials are going to take another look at it. Raiders will use their final timeout. And the officials on the field will huddle up. And at least at first glance, this does not appear to be a catch for Joe Horn.
No, that ball hits the ground. He doesn't have possession.
Keep in mind, under 2 minutes left in the game. Coaches are out of the review process. It's all up to the officials.
And Charles Woodson is lucky on the play. He didn't get called for pass interference. He was all over Joe Horn on that play.
But time continued to come off the clock.
They need to reset the clock at least 4 to 5 seconds. They didn't make a decision on the play. Time ran off the clock.
And I think that's what Gunther Cunningham is talking to one of the officials about on the near sideline.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. The pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Throw the ball in the middle of the football field if it's open, but get yourself 8 or 10 yards and give yourself a chance.
3rd down, 8 seconds to play. Kansas City looking for quick yardage, and they get it with Joe Horn. Out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Exactly what they needed. And now they give their kicker, Pete Stoyanovich, an opportunity.
And Elvis Gerbeck operates this offense. But Charles Woodson, look how far he's playing off of Joe Horn. He should realize it's his 2nd year in the league. He's not a rookie anymore. You can't give that much cushion in this type of situation. They're not going to run the touchdown. They're going to run the first down.
Pete Stoyanovich.
Sure, your holder knows exactly where it's going to be, and all you want to do, if you look up, you look at the uprights. Don't look at anything else. Concentrate, focus.
A playoff spot at stake. The division championship on the line. Pete Stoyanovich, 45-yard field goal attempt. Stoyanovich, kick is up. No good. We are headed to overtime. Out of bounds, 3rd time today. And this one as costly.
Kickoff out of bounds. Ball will be placed 30 yards from the spot of the kick. 1st down at the 40.
That is unbelievable. The third time in this game. I said it after the second time. Put Pete Stoyanovich out there. He will not kick it deep, but he will keep it in the field of play. This is a major mistake. I'll guarantee you one thing. John Baker will be looking for a job come tomorrow. Crucial situation. All you have to do is kick it on the field of play. It doesn't matter how deep it is. Keep it on the field of play. You give the opponent beautiful field position.
That young man has a lot to think about right now, putting his team's defense in a very tough spot. Wheatley getting the carry. And nowhere to go as he's shoved backwards by Donnie Edwards. It's a loss on the play of 1. Line of scrimmage was the 40. The third time today that John Baker has kicked the ball out of bounds. Former CFL kicker getting an opportunity as a kickoff specialist.
Donnie Edwards just runs right through unscathed. Both of these linebackers have done an outstanding job all afternoon filling the gap, finding that void and getting penetration into the backfield.
2nd and 11. Play action. Gannon. Wheatley couldn't catch it. Incomplete. He had some room to run in front of it.
The Kansas City defense is lucky. The entire afternoon, they've had a tough time covering the running backs out of the backfield. Big plays by every running back. Tyrone Wheatley, Napoleon Kaufman, John Ritchie. Rich Gannon just looks down the field of play, drops it off to his running back. They've made big plays all afternoon long. They've got to keep their linebackers on the running back out of the backfield, or they may give up another big play.
3rd and 11. Ritchie and Crockett in the backfield, 2 fullbacks. Gannon stepping up, throwing, finds Dudley for the first down into Kansas City territory and out of bounds right around the 42. 19 yards, and Gannon burning his former team once again.
And I have both backs, Crockett and John Ritchie, do an outstanding job of picking up the blitz, protecting Rich Gannon, giving him a chance to operate, step up in the pocket, throw the ball downfield, have good vision. If you're going to blitz the quarterback, you have to make sure someone gets a hand on him. But the offensive line stood up, the running backs picked up the blitz. That's why Rich Gannon was able to complete the pass.
Gannon, 300 yards throwing here today. Trying to go inside with Tyrone Wheatley, and no gain on the play as he was met by Eric Hicks. And now it's Oakland looking at field position and trying to get as much yardage as possible to create a scenario where Joe Nedney can win this game on the first possession of overtime.
Gunther Cunningham has ridden the back of his defense the entire season long. They've led this football team. They need to come up with a big play for Kansas City to win it, but the Oakland offense, with backup offensive linemen, have done an outstanding job of 1, running the football, and 2, protecting quarterback Rich Gannon.
Derek Thomas. He's been all over the field.
Done an outstanding job. Only 3 tackles, but pressure on the quarterback, disrupting some pass plays, and covering backs down the field of play.
On a 2nd and 10. Gannon wants to throw it. Complete. Tim Brown staying on his feet and forced out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
The pass to Tim Brown.
The Oakland Raiders
George made the tackle.
on the move, a 23-yard completion. Gunther Cunningham's team could not come through with a pressure kick. And now the Raiders will have a chance to put this one away.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line.
Big play by Tim Brown, just a crossing pattern, gets behind the underneath zone, makes a big play. You've got to put somebody on Tim Brown. If you let him run free from the line of scrimmage, he will make a big play. You've got to get up there and fight him to make sure he's got to earn everything he gets.
Crockett in the backfield gets the call, trying to spin off a tackler. He cannot. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Eric Hicks the stop. You know, Mark, you can't say that the Chiefs didn't have their opportunities in this game. They could have made a stop earlier in the 4th quarter on a 4th down that would have ended it. They have a chance at the end, a kick from Pete Stoyanovich, 45 yards away to win it. But now it's the Oakland Raiders that have it in front of them.
And I am right here, the first thing you want to do, protect the football. Don't worry about getting yardage. If you're running the football, protect it, because the Kansas City Chiefs defense, the first thing they're going to do is try to strip the running back of the football. Hold them up and strip them.
Running it into the line again, playing conservative, and why not? Zach Crockett getting the call. And they are going to go for the field goal right now.
And I think this is a smart play by John Gruden. If it's a bad snap, he's just going to tell his holder, fall on the football. Don't take a chance. We still have another down to kick it. Let's be patient with it. Let's do it right.
A 33-yard attempt that would put Seattle in the playoffs. Joe Nedney. For the win in overtime. From 33 yards away, Nedney straight through. And the Raiders have done the unexpected. They have spoiled the Kansas City Chiefs party. Seattle is going to the playoffs as the AFC West champions. And the Kansas City Chiefs, with destiny in their own hands, unable to get it done. Throughout the 90s, the Raiders just couldn't beat the Chiefs. Well, these aren't the 90s anymore, Al Davis.
Touchdown pass.
Probably as satisfied as he has been in years, because the Raiders have not been part of playoff competition in quite some time. They haven't had a winning season since 1994. Haven't been to the postseason since 1993. No, they didn't get there this year. But they can take solace in the fact that they have ruined the Kansas City Chiefs season at the end. KC will have to settle with a 9-7 finish, second place in the AFC West. And Gunther Cunningham, in his first year as a head coach in the NFL, denied of a playoff appearance. Joe Nedney kicks the Chiefs out of the postseason. It's all set in the AFC. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Buffalo, Miami, and Seattle. Oakland does it. They come into Kansas City and win in overtime. 41-38, the final score for Mark May, our entire CBS crew. This is Ian Eagle. Have a good one, everybody.
Jerry and guys, let's take a look at it here. At halftime, the Redskins leading over Miami 7-3, but again, the Dolphins are in and will play at Seattle next week. Buffalo at Tennessee also in wild card action. Jacksonville today clinched home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Now, other action, Tennessee up big over Pittsburgh, and they're already pulling out of the game McNair and Eddie George, saving them for the playoffs. Meanwhile, San Diego, Jermaine Fazand is the man, 113 yards and a touchdown. Chargers leading it mile high. Cowboys make the playoffs with a win, and Aikman a strong first half, including a touchdown pass to the Rocket. Now, on the NFC side, if Dallas wins that game, it'll be Detroit at Washington next week and the Cowboys at Minnesota. Remember, they met on a Monday night earlier this year. Vikings won by 10. But if the Giants come back to win, it'll be Green Bay at Washington and Detroit at Minnesota. Now, earlier today, the Colts' 11-game win streak came to a close. The Bills ride into the playoffs off a big win today, Craig.
Man, did they show up. Like the Colts were very nervous in this ballgame. Rob Johnson, his second touchdown of the game to Bobby Collins, up 28-6. Then Andre Reed catches this little pass from Johnson, moves into second place all-time receptions list. Could it be over for Reed in Buffalo?
I don't see myself retiring. I think I have still a lot to give to the game. Whether it's here or somewhere else, you know, that's yet to be determined. But I think I still can. I don't want to leave knowing that I still can contribute somewhere or whatever. I think I still can do it.
Second all-time to Rice. He's got a playoff game next week at Tennessee. Jags win the Central without Mark Brunell.
Well, they won it with their defense that really stifled Cincinnati, and Jay Fiedler made Tom Coughlin feel a lot better about his backup quarterback position with his performance today.
And for just a moment, it looked like Seattle would be out of the playoffs, losing for the 5th time in 6 games. The Jets close out with 7 of their last 9 games being victories. What a job by Parcells.
I think this was the best year he coached. It wasn't about the record. It wasn't. We didn't win in most games. We didn't go to the Super Bowl nor the playoffs. But this was the best year since I've been around Bill Parcells that he's coached.
Seattle was saved because the Raiders came back from 17 down. Just stunned the Chiefs. What a heartbreaker for Gunther Cunningham. Could have won at the end of regulation. Stojanovic hooked it from 45 yards on to overtime.
38-38 tie. True snap. Aragoose with the placement down, and Joe Nedney's going to hit it right down the middle. And the Oakland Raiders have ended the Chiefs season with a 41-38 overtime victory in front of a stunned crowd at Arrowhead Stadium.
Raiders knock out the Chiefs. Seahawks are in. Patriots close with a win. Both teams here 8-8 on the year. The Bucs clinch the Central Division of the NFC and a first-round bye.
But the bad news, their star offensive tackle Paul Gruber, broken leg, out for the playoffs. That's bad news.
And how about Detroit into the playoffs with 4 straight losses, and Charlie Batch may not be available next week. He re-injured his thumb.
As long as they're playing and scoring like they are, it kind of reminds me of last season on offense. Randy Moss, Jeff George, they're hooking up. Defense is getting a little bit better at stopping the run and getting to the quarterback. And I thought this was a class act. This is what Randy Moss and the NFL needs more. Gives a kid a ball at the end of the touchdown. Nice job, Randy.
Minnesota will host a playoff game next week. Green Bay needs a big comeback in the second half from the Giants. Meanwhile, the Eagles beat the Rams today. Again, the Rams rested a lot of their starters, too.
They took their starters out in the fourth quarter, but you got to really give credit to the Eagles. They played hard all day.
And Carolina got 5 touchdown passes from Steve Berline, but they lost out on that point differential tiebreaker with Green Bay, so their hopes are dashed at 8-8. They ended up down 11, if you will, and the margin difference with Green Bay. Thanks for being with us on the NASDAQ Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ Halftime Report is sponsored by the NASDAQ Stock Market.